Hello and hello and goodbye, because this very well may be the last video of mine you ever watch. Depending on, how many of you agree with me politically on things and stuff and how serious you take it. I've always said I don't do politics on this channel. It's been a hard line. I just don't do it. Today, I've decided, why not throw all that out the window? Because I got this comment. I really want to see you doing the Walmart, the Wahl-O-Mat. And it got 1,000 likes. Well, here it is. The Walmart. This is definitely not something I should do. I think I don't know. I'm not a political person even, I would say. I would say that's not like, you describe me, it's not like, oh, he's a political guy, But I just feel like it's something that needs to be done because it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. I'm curious. I want to know. Although I do reserve the right to delete this video, and I very well may. Like, depending on if all of a sudden everybody in the comments has a torch and they're coming after me for how I do on the Wahl-O-Mat, I might just be like, okay, delete. And I'm not ashamed of that, okay? I reserve that right because I don't even have to be sharing this in the first place. You know what I mean? This is private stuff. But I just think it'll be fun. With that said, should we just do it? I don't know. I guess I also want to say the reason I decided that I will do this is because I was thinking about it, and my political opinions that I do have, I feel like they're so unoffensive that if you get offended by my answers here, granted, I'm sure I'm totally like ignorant on certain subjects and maybe I'll make some mistakes. Whatever. I'm only human. Hey, good news is I'm not even voting in your guys' election anyway. Be honest, this is totally for fun. I don't care. Like, I don't even want whatever party ends up being the one that says I am or whatever, or that I would vote for. I don't even care if they win or not. I don't want them to win. I want whatever party you guys want to win. I want democracy to prevail in Germany. I'm not German. Anyway. Okay, have I rambled on enough? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm nervous. Should Germany should, I can't even read. Germany should continue to support Ukraine militarily. Oh my God, we're starting off here. Gets right into it, huh? Damn. To be honest, I think this is like, I don't know. There's a lot of nuance that can be said about these any given question, I feel like, but in general, I feel like Germany, my intuition is yeah. Support Ukraine? Yeah, I would if I was Germany. The only like hesitancy I have is that I don't like war, you know what I mean? Who does like war? I don't know. Do some of you guys like war? I guess some people do. But in that case, it does seem, like it's what needs to be done anyway, especially if you're, a Western or really an Eastern European country, but Germany's right there in the middle. Anyway, the expansion of renewable energies should continue to be financially supported by the state. Oh boy, the expansion of renewable energies. Okay. Did I mention I'm going to try to take this like really serious? This is not going to be fast, y'all. I'm not going to be flying through these questions. I'm going to take them very serious since my whole reputation's on the line here. Okay, financially supported by the state. To be honest, I like to kind of rephrase that in my mind as like financially supported by the, or financially supported by the taxpayers. You know what I mean? Like, who pays the state? The taxpayers. So it's, I feel like that's a more straightforward way of saying it. The expansion of renewable energy should continue continue to be financially supported by the taxpayers. What the hell did I just do? This is a disaster, guys. Oh my God. I feel like a lot of these questions kind of exist on like a spectrum. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not so much the question to me. It's like, to what extent should it be financially supported? I think right now Germany's in a financially tough time, like a recessionary type of time. So should the taxpayer money just be being thrown around willy-nilly? I mean, in a sense, kind of like, yeah, to create jobs, but it should be being spent productively. You know what I mean? So as long as these renewable energy projects are productive and actually creating energy at a reasonable cost, then yeah, I feel like that benefits everybody. But not like I don't want it being spent on like stupid crap. Like random little projects right now. Maybe when there's an economic boom and there's just money to spare. But right now, I feel like you gotta be a little bit fiscally strict with how you're spending it. But then again, of course, in a recession, you also do want to be stimulating the economy. So yes, support the renewable energies. That's good for everybody. So therefore, I think it's something maybe the state should be assisting in, and just spend the money wisely. Okay, is that too much to ask? I think I'll say agree. I mean, part of me feels kind of neutral on it because it's like what I was saying about the recession. Energy independence is a big topic in Germany right now. I guess renewable energy is an end to that goal. So, yeah, I mean, I agree, but there's more nuance to it as far as how much money. The citizen's allowance is to be withdrawn from those who repeatedly reject job offers. What is the citizen's allowance? Is that like unemployment money? Citizen's allowance. The way it's phrased, it must be money people get who aren't working. A welfare benefit that helps people pay for living expenses. You're able to work but can't cover your living costs. You're at least 15 years old. Okay, so it's like people who... Okay. Well, this is implying they don't have a job and that they are applying to jobs, but when they're getting accepted to those jobs, they're rejecting them. So should the taxpayers be paying people who are rejecting job offers that are capable of working? That's a key aspect to it, like they are able to work. They're living off the state in some kind of way right now, but they're rejecting job. I mean, okay. I think I agree. Is that cold-hearted? I don't know. You tell me. Maybe I'm a dick. But if you're able to work and the taxpayers are paying you, it's one thing for us to help each other out while you're in a difficult time and you're trying to find a job and you're not getting any offers. But if you're just rejecting job offers, now, as I say that, I am thinking like, well, what if the job offers are really bad? I still lean toward agree, but like, say I'm unemployed and I'm applying for a place and they come at me and they're like, yeah, here's your job offer. 59 cents an hour. 80 hours a week, no vacation. Like, yeah, you're going to reject that. But if they're repeatedly rejecting them, maybe one time. Reject one or two, but if you're doing it like 3 times, then no, we got to cut we got to start cutting back on the citizens' allowance at that point, I think. I agree. A general speed limit should apply on all motorways. What? No more Autobahn? Unlimited speed? I've actually talked about this in a past video, and I was like saying, I like that aspect of Germany, that it's got the Autobahn. It's just a neat thing about it with the unlimited speed. But I know that you guys, a lot of you guys, actually do want a speed limit on the Autobahn. Which this is definitely one of those questions where it's like, I mean, it's whatever you guys want. I guess you could say that about this whole thing. As far as what I would vote for, I don't know, man. It's a toss-up. Honestly, I would have to have more experience. I mean, I don't have any experience driving in Germany. I would have to have experience driving in Germany to even have an opinion on this. You know what I mean? Like if I drove on the Autobahn every day and I was like, wow, this is totally unsafe and there needs to be a speed limit, then yeah, I'd say agree. But like I want to click do not agree. That's what I want to click. With all that said, I guess I'm neutral. I don't know. Asylum seekers who have entered the country via another EU country will be turned away at the German border. They've already entered the EU and they were passing through another EU country. Why aren't they applying for asylum in that country? Does Germany have like better asylum rights? I mean, this is tough. I don't freaking know, man. To me, the question is more like, I guess what I don't understand about the current situation, I genuinely don't know. Are people using the asylum process as like a loophole to get into EU countries? Because to me, asylum is for someone who's being persecuted by the state unjustifiably, you know what I mean? At least by like, Western values or whatever. And so they seek asylum. But if we're talking about just people that are like, just want to move to the EU and they want to do it in a way that's like, let's do it quick and let's skip most of the process, let's just do asylum, then that's obviously not what it's intended for, I don't think. With all that said, that's an important thing that I don't understand about this question. Like, are we talking about actual people who are being persecuted in their countries? Because then it's like, no, I don't want to turn those people away. But then there's also the aspect of, okay, they're coming through another EU country. I mean, I understand that the border, the frontier countries get all like the immigrants, and then I guess the EU has some way of like spreading them throughout the EU. But this is saying that they went through an EU country. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's too much about this question that I am not qualified to even, like, I don't even understand the nuances of this question. I don't understand if they're real asylum seekers. I don't understand why they're going through another EU country and not applying for asylum there. And if you turned them away at the German border, then where would they go? Would they go, if they were coming through Austria, would they now remain in Austria? And like, what's the deal with that? I don't know. Neutral. I guess I could click skip. I don't know what the difference between skip and neutral. I guess skip just is like, I'm not answering this. Neutral's like, this isn't really important to me, or like I'm not, I'm in the middle. Maybe I should have clicked skip. Anyway, for new rentals, rental places should be capped by law, or should continue to be capped by law. I don't know, man. It totally depends. A lot of these questions, it's like, I'm going to need more information. What's the cap? What do you mean cap? You can't just put a price cap. You have to, it has to at least increase with inflation or at some reasonable rate. For new rentals, rental prices should continue to be capped. Okay, what I'm trying to figure out is this question saying, it's asking, like, I understand that in Germany there's a lot of the rent control. And this is asking, and I understand that typically, I think how it normally works is when a tenant stays in an apartment, they can only raise the price every year by so much. And this is saying when a new tenant moves in, is that what it's saying? When there's a new tenant, should that price cap be reset? Isn't that normally how it works? Like, it goes to like the market rate, and then from there it can only increase so much. Which, I think that makes sense. Rather than like you inheriting the previous tenant's rate cap. Is that even what this is saying, though? For new rentals, rental prices should continue to be capped by law. Okay. So from what I'm reading, I'm really trying to understand this, trying to figure this out, because I don't want to mess this one up. I don't want to mess any of these up. This is talking about, like, should there be a law that when a new tenant moves in, he kind of inherits the rent cap that the previous tenant had, basically, like, in a way, instead of it resetting to a market rate and then them capping the increase from there, which I think that makes sense. To me, the point of a rent cap is to prevent, like, particularly egregious raises in rent after you've already moved into a place or lived in a place for a long time. It feels very wrong for the rent to just be arbitrarily raised, or for that to even be possible by the landlord to be able to just raise it to any arbitrary amount because you've lived in that place for a long time. There's all sorts of different factors that go into that kind of that would put you in a really difficult spot if the rent was just raised like that on you. But as far as when you first move in, I think the free market, for the most part, maybe I'm a capitalist pig, but the free market should, kind of determine what that apartment is worth, at least initially. I think that makes sense to me. Otherwise, to be honest, I feel like there would be all sorts of repercussions in the economy. So I think I'm going to click do not agree. Like, I'm cool with some rent caps for raises for current tenants, but I don't know about that. Anyway, okay, moving on. Holy crap. The federal police should be allowed to use software for automated facial recognition at railway stations. I'm having like a visceral reaction to this. I'm thinking, hell no. Okay. I'm not trying to live in George Orwell's 1984. Okay, I'm really not trying to. I don't really want the state scanning my face everywhere I go. With that said, I could imagine a scenario, if I'm trying to kind of play devil's advocate against myself, which I'm doing on every question, you know what I mean? I really don't like criminals, you know what I mean? And I really value safety. I value freedom and safety, you know what I mean? Everybody does, and oftentimes those two things, and privacy. Privacy, I know you guys agree with me on privacy, right? And this feels like a major infringement of privacy to me. With that said, I could imagine some kind of a system where you have a database that is totally restricted to only the faces of known criminals who are currently on the loose, violent criminals, known violent criminals, currently on the loose. And if the state set it up in such a way that, the AI computer was scanning faces anonymously in such a way that no one could even see, like no operator, no human could even see what was happening, because I don't want any human looking at the faces, okay? To me, that's weird. Let alone like looking at the faces and getting your identity or anything. But if it then just compared the faces to known violent criminals, maybe? But is that how they would do it? No. I doubt it. I doubt it. And I know that the slippery slope is technically like a logical fallacy, but obviously also it kind of also exists. Like there is a slippery slope with a lot of things, meaning that they implement this and then all of a sudden you've got a social credit score attached to you. Maybe I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I don't care. Because this does sound like a conspiracy right here waiting to happen. So for me personally, I value privacy. So without some serious stipulations, which I'm not seeing here, I'm saying no. Energy-intensive companies should receive financial compensation. What was that? Energy-intensive companies should receive financial compensation from the state for their electricity costs. Energy-intensive companies should receive financial compensation from taxpayers for their electricity costs. Why would they? Why the hell? I'm sorry. I might be missing a key aspect to this. Why the hell should the German people be paying companies for the company's energy usage? I don't give a crap if your company uses a bunch of electricity. I'm not paying for it. You can pay for it. It's your company. What companies are we talking about? Are they providing a product or service for free to the German people? Because why else would you guys be paying for their energy? Maybe I'm getting all worked up about something I don't understand, but as it's written here, taking it at face value, no. I'm trying to think what political party would even agree with that. I guess the energy company party or something. All employees should be able to retire without deductions after 40 years of contributions. I'll say so deductions from their retirement, like Social Security or something. I don't know. This is kind of arbitrary. 40 years? How about 35 years? How about 45 years? How about 38 years? How about 15 years? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. How about 39 and a half years? All employees should be able to retire without deductions after 40 years. 40 years is a long time. I'll say that. I mean, it seems about right. You get the job when you're 25 and you're, 40 years, you're 65. Interesting question. I almost feel like I'd have to sit here and think about it for a long time to even have an opinion. Part of me feels like it's just a math question. You know what I mean? Like, you take this to an extreme, it's like all employees should be able to retire without deductions after 10 years of contributions. Like, I wish. I don't think that would be fiscally responsible. So, 40 years. It's like, that sounds reasonable. Is it fiscally responsible? I don't know. I'd have to see the numbers. Can't just like throw out some arbitrary number at me and be like, does this sound good? I mean, it sounds good. whatever, man. I guess I skip it because I don't. Am I neutral? I guess I'm neutral. It's like this. It was just once again. It's kind of like, well, whatever you guys want. I don't know. That's not. I don't have an opinion about that. The introductory sentence of the basic law should continue to contain the phrase responsibility before God. Oh, I mean, in general, I would say no, it should not contain that. I believe in a separation of church and state. Do I think that's like the end of the world? No. That it says that? Not really. But do I think it should say that? I mean, I know this is kind of weird, but I almost feel like my answer to this is just like, if we were to remove it, would that cause like social upheaval? Would people be like in the streets with pitchforks, like, put it back? Because in that case, to be honest, I don't know if it's worth it. Like maybe just, I don't know. Maybe push it off for another couple decades and see if it's a better time. But I mean, as far as like just kind of like fundamentally, should it be in there? Considering I believe in a separation of church and state, no. So basic law. I guess I'll just do not agree. Germany should continue to promote the recruitment of skilled workers from abroad. I mean, why not? What does it mean, promote? I guess that's what I mean, Germany. I mean, first and foremost, I don't mean to sound like nationalist or anything, but it's like you would think first and foremost Germany would recruit skilled workers from Germany. I certainly, I don't think they should inhibit the recruitment of skilled workers from abroad. I think it's good to bring in, top talent from around the world. But promote it, I'm a little bit stuck on that word. What exactly do you mean, promote it? Why does anybody need to promote that? Do you see what I mean? Like, don't inhibit it, but why are you having to promote it? I don't know what that means. To me, that means pay. Someone's paying something. If something's being promoted, then the taxpayers are paying to promote it. And in what way what are we talking about? But also, like, kind of on its face, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with skilled workers from abroad. It's just, to me, that's written weird. Promote? I think I'm neutral. Yeah, I think I'm neutral on that. Germany should again use nuclear energy to generate electricity. Oh, Atomcraft! Atomcraft! This is an interesting subject because I know in Germany, this is something that kind of surprised me because over here in America, people honestly don't have like, I've never seen a protest against nuclear energy. But in Germany, I've seen all these protests like, no nuclear energy. And this is one of those subjects where I'm probably, I don't know. On one hand, I feel like I'm a little bit ignorant on it to even speak about it. But on the other hand, I do have an opinion that, like, energy independence is powerful and important. And from what I understand, and maybe I need to do more research, but from what I understand, nuclear energy can be a powerful tool to generate electricity. in a profitable way. I think it's something that Germany would be good at because you guys are engineering geniuses. So, and as the world, with AI and everything, the world just needs as much energy as it can get. And it does seem like a more sustainable way to generate electricity than, fossil fuels. So I think I agree. I have seen the protests though, which make me think like I might be missing something. So don't be too mad at me, but I think I agree. The top tax rate on income is to be increased. What's the top tax rate? Let me see. Germany tax rates. This again to me kind of feels like a math problem. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of people who I feel like they're just like, yes, always raise the rich people's taxes. I view it more as like a math problem. And more, I think it's a balance. You got to be careful. You got to be balanced, I think. You don't want to drive out all the innovation and rich people to other countries. Rich people being in your country, I think that's good for the economy. So you don't want to drive them out. So you can't make it too high. You can't tax them at 99.9%. What is it right now? 45% is the highest, and that's above 277,000 euros. I don't know. That's pretty high, man. I mean, that's half the money. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, over here in America, the income tax rates don't seem to be like a problem. It's more like the corporate tax loopholes that are a problem here in America. So I don't know if that applies to Germany. How do I answer this? The top tax rate? Because I mean, I guess I am neutral. I'm clicking neutral a lot, but that's just because it's the truth. I don't want to just click neutral on every single one. The top tax rate on income is to be increased. I mean, what's it been historically? Like 45 is not low. At least it doesn't sound low. Germany tax. Let me do it like this. Let's ask the all-powerful AI, like, give me a list of historical tax rates, top tax rates in Germany over the past few decades. Make a chart. How about that? A line chart. Some serious research we're doing now, guys. Hold on. Okay, I mean, so from what I'm seeing, it's been about 45% for decades now. Or between 45 and 48, 53% in this range for many decades. To be increased. I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. It's whatever. The federal government should be given more powers in school policy. Why? I'm gonna say no. Anytime you ask me, should the federal government be given more powers, I just don't even like that statement or that concept or more powers to the federal government. I don't know. In school policy. I wonder if there's some context for this. Like, why are people calling for this? Like some people. I kind of like the idea of not having like such a power centralized federal government, having states and other jurisdictions that have more control to fine tune, that way people have options within a country. So just in general, I mean, I'm just going to say no. Meh. Germany should continue to be allowed to export military equipment to Israel. Ooh. Oh boy. This one feels above my pay grade, guys. This one's a little bit different than Ukraine, you know what I mean? Ukraine feels more like a existential threat. Not Ukraine, but Russia. Whereas, this is like more of a just a hairy situation, to say an understatement. So I am skipping. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Other people can argue about that. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. All citizens should be required to be insured in a statutory health insurance funds. Oh, okay. I see. I see. I asked AI what this, like, the implication of this is. And it's saying, like, effectively it would abolish private insurance by forcing all Germans to sign up for the public health insurance. Which I guess, I guess the way insurance tends to work is the more people that are signed up into any one given pool, the more efficient that pool can be. So I guess I can see why that might be. I don't know, man. I always when I learned about the German healthcare system, I thought it was pretty cool how you had a choice between the public and the private health insurance, or you could get like supplementary insurance, I think, on top of your public health insurance. So, I guess as an American, I'm like, my health insurance, our health system over here is so screwed up and expensive that I can't even, like, I don't know. I'm jealous of your current system, so therefore I kind of like the current one. The statutory quota for women on executive boards and supervisory boards of listed companies is to be abolished. There's a quota for women on executive boards for listed companies, like public companies. I didn't know that. Is that what? Is that true? If it was something dealing with like healthcare or something, I could see the argument for that. But if we're talking about just any public company, like if we're talking about Adidas needs a quota for women on the executive boards, I don't see why. Once again, maybe I'm a horrible person. I just think I don't like judging anybody by superficial metrics. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely, it should be illegal to, not hire someone for the executive board or not promote someone to the executive board or whatever for being a woman. But with that said, everybody should have an equal opportunity, man, woman, child, baby. No, but that's just. I think that's a pretty fundamental value that I hold. That any man, woman, any color, creed, they should have an equal opportunity to be, pretty much whatever they want to be. So, with that said, I'm against quotas like that in general. I guess that sounds kind of. I see the idea. I see the idea. I'm just as like a a fundamental kind of like I could also see maybe for like education, something where it's like culturally influential enough to where it's like, okay, we need to mandate that there's some representation for different groups for something like education. But for Adidas or Volkswagen, um, I just think those companies should be free to prosper by having their boards consist of the most qualified people according to what they, their whatever. And whether that's all women or half women or one woman, I kind of irrelevant to me, honestly, when it comes to cars. Have I explained that well enough? This feels like a controversial one, but I'm saying no. Or wait. I'm saying yes, it should be abolished. That does feel a little bit cold-hearted, but I understand that's from a good place. And I agree with the place that it's coming from. Anyway, organic farming should be promoted more than conventional farming. Yeah. Once again, that word promoted. It's like, what exactly does that mean, promoted? Organic farming is better than conventional farming, yeah. But conventional farming is obviously cheaper. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about in a recessionary environment right now, where people already can barely afford food, I wish everybody could eat organically. I freaking wish, man. But if you're struggling, you're not gonna really, you don't have the luxury of caring if the food is organic or conventionally farmed. It should have to pass strict health standards. Organic farming should be promoted more than conventional farming. It's really the word promoted that's too vague for me. I don't know what that means. What do you mean promoted? I don't want to ban conventional farming for the reasons I just listed. And I don't even want to, inhibit it from providing cheap food to people that need it. But with that said, organic farming is healthier, it's better for the environment, it's more ethical to the animals. So should it be promoted by who? The state? That's tough. It's too vague, man. I want to click agree, but it's like, I guess I'll click agree because it's not saying anything about banning conventional farming, and it's not saying that it's going to like if we're just talking about labeling food as being clearly organic and having strict labels for what's considered organic and that type of thing, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Absolutely, the consumer should know. Organic should mean something when it's on a label. You should know what you're getting. A conventional farming, industrial farm shouldn't be able to slap organic on their food. That's for sure. I guess I'll click agree, but I do wish I knew what promoted meant. The federal government should increase its support for projects against right-wing extremism. Okay, guys, this is a hugely controversial. Let me tell you right now, I hate extremism. I hate right-wing extremism. I hate racism. I hate all that crap. But when you start saying the government should censor its political opponents or censor a political party. This has got to be the most controversial one so far, right? For me to be saying that I if we're talking about violent extremism, then that should be censored. Like, you can't be promoting violence. But that's not what this says. This says right-wing extremism, which I am not a fan of. I'm not a fan of. But the thing is, things can be conflated. That is the problem. That's the crux of the whole problem. That's why I'm so pro freedom of speech, is because who gets to draw that line on what is right-wing extremism? Because if we're talking about right-wing extremism from a social perspective, that's a lot different than from a fiscal perspective. And so why should if someone's a libertarian, or they just think that taxes should be super low. They believe in the free market, You might disagree with it, but should the government be supporting projects against them? In my opinion, no. And I just think and that does not speak, let me be clear, because I feel like this is the most controversial by far. Let me be clear. I absolutely support people's freedom to protest right-wing extremism or whatever else they want to protest. Get out there and protest it. Absolutely. That's freedom of speech. It's when the government, the federal government itself, starts stepping in and oppressing a political party, fundamentally can't agree with it. Sorry. Hopefully that made sense, because I know some people, once again, coming from what I totally agree with is the right, place in their heart. But when you're talking about the federal government, that's a line, in my opinion. Who am I, though? I guess I just want to say real quick, I feel really weird even doing this quiz. I'm not some political pundit. I'm not even politically, I don't care. I do care. But it's more important to me that, like I said before, democracy prevails in Germany and elsewhere. It's up to you guys to vote on these matters. I'm trying to have fun. And I think it's interesting to take this quiz. Anyway, okay, let's move on. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to preach to you guys. Really not. I'm just trying to explain my thought process. Really not trying to preach to anybody. You guys do whatever you want. Live your life however you want it. Companies should continue to be required to monitor compliance with human rights and environmental protection among all suppliers. I agree. It kind of sucks that it's up to the company to monitor their suppliers instead of the suppliers, wherever those suppliers may be from. Now, I guess the problem is those suppliers are from who knows where their government is not doing a sufficient job at monitoring their compliance. Or maybe they have totally different compliance laws in their country compared to what's acceptable in Germany. So therefore, unfortunately, the Odom, it lies on the company to make sure that their suppliers are complying with human rights. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's only so much you can do. I'm trying to think of the logistics of that. Like, you should, at the very least, have to get the word of your suppliers that they are complying with human rights and environmental compliance. Like, it's not like you can go investigate every one of your suppliers. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking of the logistics of it. Like, it's not like I mean, it totally depends how profitable you are. I mean, I guess if you're a billion-dollar company, if you're Adidas, then maybe you can send some people to Vietnam or wherever you're getting your manufacturing done to go look at the compliance. But for a smaller company that's getting suppliers internationally, they can't be, spending all their money that they don't have investigating compliance for every one of their suppliers. But with that said, they should at least be diligent in doing their best. You know what I mean? Anyway, the BA FOG training grant will continue to be paid depending on the parent's income. What is this? BA FOG training grant. Oh my God. No wonder you guys use an acronym. Enables young people to choose a study program that best suits their skills and interests. Need-based and granted if the student's own financial means or those of his parents or spouse or partner are insufficient. Well, I'm totally in favor of that being a program. Now, what is this saying? The training grant will continue to be paid depending on the parent's income. As opposed to what? I am in favor of this program. I think that's fantastic. That goes to what I said a while ago about how I believe every person, to the best of the nation's ability, the nation should provide every person an equal opportunity to achieve their greatest potential. And so this is a great program for that. Any type of providing aid to students who otherwise wouldn't be able to complete training or education. With that said, I'm not exactly sure what this should continue to be paid depending on the parent's income. Yeah. Here's the thing. How old are these people? Like, not everybody's parents, if they say, hey, your parents could pay for this. And then you say, well, my parents aren't paying for it. Oh, a lot of good that does me. My parents' income is high enough that they could pay for it, but they're not. Then I think you should still get the grant. Like, if you're old enough, if you're over 18, then it should be about your income. It should be about how much your parents are paying, which is hard to quantify. I understand that. Because if the parents know, hey, we would pay for it, but if we just say we're not going to pay for it, then they're going to pay for it. It becomes a difficult thing. I'm in favor of the program, so I guess I click agree. I don't know. I'm thinking too deep about this. I don't freaking know, man. The debt break and the basic law should be retained. What? What? Germany's debt break, or Schuldenbremse, is a fiscal rule that forms part of the German constitution. The debt break limits how much debt the government can take on and dictates the size of the federal government's structural budget deficit must not exceed 35 basis points of the country's annual gross domestic product. Hmm. This is a tough one. This feels like, like the Ring, the Lord of the Rings. It's the Ring. Like, I mean, it's in there for good reason, of course. I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, I feel like ideally, I want to say I wish there was a little bit more flexibility. Sounds like, for in instances of recession and stuff, you want to be able to stimulate the economy. But you don't want your country to go broke, obviously. And you don't want to, well, you don't want to be like the USA and have $40 trillion in national debt. No, but more importantly, you don't want your country to go broke. You don't want to debase the currency. But you guys are on the euro. I think I might be in favor of a little bit added flexibility to that number, you know? But you got to be careful. It's the Ring. You know what I mean? It's all powerful. It can destroy you or it can bring great prosperity if used wisely. I'm neutral. Asylum seekers in Germany should receive a work permit immediately after submitting their application. I really want to know, these asylum seekers, are they all like, how many of them get approved? That's an interesting question. Like, okay, so 45% get accepted. So a little, like about half get accepted. But anyway, should they immediately get a work permit? I mean, I guess. I don't know. That's tough. Because obviously, if you do that, then you incentivize more immigration, more people to come and apply for asylum. Because, I mean, and that's a good deal for them. They can come and immediately get a work permit. But also, like, if they're going to come, I guess you'd rather them be working and working legally than not. I guess I'm kind of framing this, to be honest, over here in America, we talk about illegal immigration so much that I can't help but frame it from that kind of perspective, or at least think about it from that kind of perspective. Like, why are so many people... I don't know, man. I don't know. Whoa. I'm wondering why so many people are seeking asylum in Germany. I guess it just comes down to Germany's a desirable place and is, friendly toward refugees, which I think is something you guys should be proud of, that, a lot of people want to move there. Should they receive a work permit immediately after submitting their application? Shouldn't you have to, like, apply for a work permit or something? I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I guess the way I feel about it is, like, ideally, you would just speed up the process. Like, nothing would really be done without any vetting or any processing of the asylum seekers. But the process probably takes too long the way it is. I mean, from what I'm looking up, it takes months to like a year or years. Um, and so then you've just got people who can't work, and so that's not good for anybody. Um, but you don't want to incentivize, a huge influx of more immigration necessarily, unless you do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do. Oh man, I don't like these questions dealing with asylum seekers and stuff. It feels too much of a hot button topic. But I guess those are the most interesting ones, huh? Honestly, I feel like no, they shouldn't immediately get a work permit, but there should be some kind of expedited process to like integrate them. Like screen them, make sure that they have some kind of justification for seeking asylum, and then assuming they pass that, um, and any kind of criminal check. I don't know how you do that with people that you don't know who they are, but yeah, and then you can give them a work permit. And if that process could be extremely expedited to like a few days, that would be ideal. Yeah, I think that's how I feel. This is another one where it feels a little bit cold-hearted, but also it's like I'm just trying to be reasonable, you know? Like, is it a good idea to just give anybody who comes into Germany a work permit? I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe it is. Germany should abandon the goal of becoming climate neutral. Why would they abandon that? You guys have come so far. I really respect your guys' aspirations. I would have actually already thought you guys like were climate neutral. I mean, I really don't know. Maybe I'm way off base on that. I think that's a good goal. I don't know why you would abandon it. Well, okay, I say I don't know why you would abandon it, but I guess if you're of the opinion or the belief that climate change is like a total scam, then I could see why you would say they should abandon it. But I don't think climate change is a scam. I'm pretty sure. It's hard to tell these days what is and isn't a scam, but I don't think climate change is a scam. So should you abandon the goal? I don't think so. I say keep up the good work. In Germany, the 35-hour work week is to be established as the legal standard working time for all employees. And you know what? I'm gonna just. These ones bother me, man. It's like arbitrary. I don't know. Uh, Probably not during a recession. You know what I mean? I mean, this doesn't feel like the right time to be implementing something like that. I wish we could I wish it could be 20 hours. And maybe, I think one day in the future, all jokes aside, like it can and will be. And that'll be great. But I don't think it's the time. This feels like a very luxurious, or at least a pretty luxurious, like a thing to aspire toward. And unfortunately, just in current times, it's not top of the list, in my opinion. You know what I mean? We need to be productive, like as productive as possible right now. Maybe that's just my crazy American programming, work to live, live to work, is what I mean. Do not agree. Abortions in the first 3 months of pregnancy should continue to be legal only after counseling. It's funny that the whole abortion thing is such like a it throws me such for a loop in Germany. It's so different of a conversation than over here in the States. I would have always expected Germany to be more pro-choice, but it is definitely still a hot topic in Germany. Only after counseling? Counseling with who? I don't like coerced counseling. I just don't. Ugh, it rubs me the wrong way. It's like re-education or something. Like, you must be counseled. You're you're I don't know. You're having a wrong thought. You need to be counseled on this thought you're having before you can proceed. You need to be re-educated. I don't know. I'm just going to say do not agree. The euro is to be replaced by a national currency in Germany. Ooh. Going back to the mark. I think it's an interesting question. I think there's probably a lot of strong arguments to be made for why maybe it should be. You guys want your own currency. It would depend, honestly, on how the other EU countries are behaving and the entire EU as a whole, fiscally. And, whether or not you would feel like you could do better. Having full controls over all the levers of the currency. Of course, that comes at a major cost of, not interoperability, basically, between EU states. Having a common currency is a major benefit. So I really could see this either way. I really could. I think that's a fascinating question. And if I studied it a bunch more, I might have a strong opinion. But as it is right now, I don't know. I would be very curious on the subject, though. When expanding transport infrastructure, rail should have priority over road. Yes? Priority over road. I don't know if I like having like a blanket statement like that. Like, I think it's a case-by-case basis. Like, you need to look at if adding a Autobahn from one city to another would like be a major productivity saver. Get people and goods transported lightning fast down this new Autobahn from this city to this city. Like, whether that should be a train or a road, it's a case-by-case basis, in my opinion. Like, a road it's more flexible with what you can transport. A train, I think, is mostly for people, right? Which is, well, I say that, but over here in America, trains are mostly for coal and stuff like that. But I think we're talking about people. So, I don't know. I don't know if you have to make this choice, to say, oh, we're prioritizing rail over roads. And so then, you come up with a great idea for a road. That's my problem with it. You come up with a great idea for a new highway, and they say, nope, because we are prioritizing rail. I just don't like putting limitations like that. But overall, I do value rail, especially in a place like Europe, where you guys already have such incredible rail train infrastructure. It's like, keep doing that. Definitely continue to work that out, because that's amazing. But so are your Autobahns. It depends on the application. Yeah, I'm stuck. I know after everything I just said, you would think I'm going to click do not agree, but I'm kind of thinking like at a base level, I kind of, you know, public transportation's just a public good. You know what I mean? That you don't need a car for. So it's accessible to like everybody. And so for that reason, having that slight priority, I might have that. That does not discount what I just said though. Like I don't want there to be a reason why you should say, "Oh no, we're not building a road there because we're prioritizing rail." You know, you have to be just smart about whether it's a rail or a road. That's not, you know, the question is what do we need? What's going to be best? Not, "Oh, are we prioritizing rail?" So, I mean, I guess I don't. Am I neutral? I think I'm actually neutral because I'm like, I don't want to prioritize anything. I don't want to prioritize anything on an arbitrary basis. I want there to just be a good reason. You know, tell me why we need the rail, tell me why we need the road. Voluntary work should be credited towards future pensions. At what, like, rate? Like, how would you? I like the idea, but it's like, how do you quantify the value of this voluntary work? With paid work, it's a lot easier because you're getting paid, so you have something to go off of. Voluntary work, it's like, what if what if, I don't know, credited toward future pensions? Who's paying the pension? The state? The taxpayers? So should voluntary work, because then, I mean, let's just be honest. In a way, that makes it not it's voluntary. It's still voluntary. But voluntary implies you're not getting paid. But this is saying, should you get paid in the future for your voluntary work? I wouldn't mind people being incentivized in some way to do more voluntary work. It just has to make sense. It has to make sense fiscally. You know what? Sure. The question, though, is just then how much should they be credited? And that, I don't know. But you know what? If someone's spending their freaking life doing all this public good work for people, volunteering, then throw them a bone when they're retired, okay? In some kind of way. I don't know. The property tax should continue to be passed on to tenants? Hell no. Why is it passed on to tenants? That should be the landlord. The landlord owns the property. Now, of course, he's going to pass it on to the tenants no matter what. That's how it works. You know what I mean? He can't just take a cost. He's not going to get a new cost on his, line items and say, well, I guess that's going straight out of my pocketbook, and straight out of my margin, and I'm not making any money this year because now I'm paying property tax. No, he's going to raise the rent. But with that said, should it be directly being paid by the tenants? No, I think that should be impacting the landlord's margin. It's a part of doing business. He's the one that owns the property. I mean, what the hell? I'm sorry, but what? Why would someone who doesn't own the property being directly paying the tax on the property tax? The landlord who owns it should directly pay it. I think. I'm getting a little too passionate here. The property tax should continue to be passed on to tenants. No. The right to strike for employees is critical. The right to strike for employees in critical infrastructure companies is to be restricted by law. Hell no. You don't get to restrict anyone's right to strike. I mean, if the critical infrastructure people go on strike, then I guess you're going to strike a deal with them very quickly, aren't you? I mean, you're just going to have to hire, I don't know. You're going to have to figure it out with them. I'm not going to restrict, I'm not going to vote to restrict people's right to strike. I believe in people's right to protest, people's right to strike, to form unions. You know what I mean? To me, that's forced labor. That's basically what the question to me is. That's how I'm reading it. It's like, should we force people to do labor? No, you can't do that. Sorry, I don't mean to be like on my soapbox, man. I really don't. I genuinely like if someone came to me and was like explained why they thought that critical infrastructure people should not be able to strike, like I would be able to understand where they're coming from. It's critical infrastructure. The whole country is relying on it. We can't have those people all, coordinate to go on strike and bring down critical infrastructure. But with that said, it's just a fundamental thing, in my opinion. Like you can't force people to do labor. Anyway, but I'm just saying I don't want to sound preachy. God, in Germany, referendums should be possible at the federal level. Yeah, hell yeah. Why not? Who's against that? Children under the age of 14 should be able to be prosecuted? Prosecuted like on a civil matter? All right, that sounds pretty dystopian to me, I'm not going to lie. Like prosecuting people under 14. Now, with that said, if you're 14 and you commit a heinous act of murder, then it's not about, to me, it's not about, oh, should you be prosecuted? It's, we can't have anyone out here on the streets who's, killing people, even if they're 14. But I'm sure you guys, I'm sure you guys obviously have some kind of system of like rehabilitation and stuff like that for these kids, like to where they're being detained, right? I mean, if someone, let's imagine the worst case scenario, a 14-year-old does a mass, I'm not going to say it, but they happen way too often over here in America. Let's say someone manages to do that at 14 in Germany. You know what I'm talking about. Should he be prosecuted? I mean, they need to be detained. Now, if you say they need to be rehabilitated for a long time, yeah. As opposed to like an adult who just needs to be, in my opinion, if you do the worst of the worst crimes, then you don't deserve to, be a free person in our society anymore. If you do the worst of the worst crimes, I'm saying. But, when we're talking about little kids, now 14, I mean, then there's the question of like, what age should it be? 14, that's definitely right on the line, in my opinion, I could see saying, hey, maybe it should be 13. I don't know. Whatever you guys are doing right now, Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to be working. I'm not seeing like some kind of like crazy mayhem going on in Germany with kids under 14. You know, kids under 14 make stupid mistakes. They're kids. They do stupid crap that like I do not think they should be prosecuted for. You know what I mean? Like trespassing and stuff like that. But as like an innocent kid, like they're just, you know, getting into some trouble. Whereas with like an adult, it's like, okay, if you're like, say you're like sneaking in people's backyards and you're like 28 years old, no, that's not okay. But if you're like a 12-year-old and you go sneaking through someone's backyard, that's way more forgivable. Um, you know, you go climb on the roof of the McDonald's at 12 years old. Now, if you're doing that at 30, that's different. Anyway. I like this in spirit. They should not be prosecuted. But there definitely needs to be some, you know, some measures taken against the worst criminals who need to be detained until they are sufficiently, you know, not a threat to society. Children under age should be able to be prosecuted. I'm going to say do not agree. I just don't like the sound of that. Germany should campaign for the abolition of increased EU tariffs on Chinese electric cars. It sounds like I would expect Germany to be the last people to do that. Chinese electric cars have the potential to be a big threat to, you know, Germany's main export, cars. So why would they be campaigning for the abolition of increased EU tariffs on Chinese electric cars? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. As far as for like what's in Germany's best interest, I don't know why they would be campaigning. Like I'm trying to think like do I support tariffs on Chinese electric cars into the EU? I don't know, maybe. Just cuz I mean, you're talking about a country that manufactures things that, you know, their workers' rights are just nowhere near what workers' rights are in Germany. So they're able to undercut the prices in China a lot. And how are you supposed to compete with that? And so it kind of makes sense that you might want to tariff that. I'm going to say do not agree. Oh. Hold on. Did I even answer that like how I meant to answer that? Let me see. Germany should campaign. Yeah, do not agree. In Germany, it should be. Sorry. In Germany, it should generally continue to be possible to have a second citizenship in addition to German one. I really don't care. I don't see why not. Like, is that causing a problem? I don't know. I haven't heard the case against it, so I'm just going to agree. Because to me, that's a non-issue, but maybe it is an issue. A compulsory social year is to be introduced for young adults. Compulsory social year? What does that even mean? Like after high school, you have to have a social year? Okay, I'm reading about this like social year, voluntary social year, and it sounds all like cool and stuff, but I don't understand why it would be compulsory. What's wrong with it being voluntary? I can't hear it. Nope, nobody's responding. I can't hear anybody. Somebody tell me why it needs to be compulsory. I mean, in general, to be honest, I don't like that word compulsory. I don't like for most things, compulsory doesn't apply in a good way. Like some countries have compulsory voting. I think that's pretty cool. But compulsory most other things, it's like I think you should be able to do whatever you want, not compelled to. But it does seem cool. It seems like a cool program. Do not agree. Just because it's compulsory. New heating systems should continue to be allowed to run entirely on fossil fuels. Ooh, in the future. Ooh, fossil fuels. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, I think I agree they should continue to be allowed to run entirely on fossil fuels. Like, I know obviously that's not ideal for the environment, but I think there's other. That seems like a kind of a weird arbitrary measure to put on something, whereas I think that like the production of renewable energy should hopefully create the correct incentives to where having an electric heater or whatever makes sense. I don't want to have to compel people to do something that's going to cost them more money. Now, if you want to do it, maybe it doesn't cost more money. I don't know. I mean, if it doesn't cost more money, then why would you get one that runs on fossil fuels anyway? At somewhere along the line, it must cost more money to get an electric one, whether it's the initial install or the energy itself. But what I'm saying is, hopefully, advances are made to where it becomes cheaper. And as fossil fuels dry up, as the fossils dry up, those should get more expensive naturally. And it'll flip to where it just makes economic sense to have an electric heater. And that'll be a good thing. But as far as just drawing a line right now and saying no more gas heaters, I'm okay with that being a goal. But as far as just drawing the line, I don't agree, I don't think. The statutory minimum wage is to be increased to 15 euros by 2026 at the latest. €15? Okay, I mean, that's not even that high. What is it right now? Like this would be a more interesting question if it was like 20 euros. At 15 euros, I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, then again, over here in America, the minimum wage is $7.25. But you have to also understand the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, is so low that you basically can't even find a job that pays you that low. Most jobs over here right now are paying at least $15 an hour. Unless you're working literally at like McDonald's, in which case you're probably getting like $12, $13 an hour. But $7 an hour, there's pretty you would have to try to find a job that pays you that bad. With that said, okay, so right now it's $12.82 in Germany. So by 2026, which is next year, man, that's crazy. That's next year. This is the last question, by the way. Seems reasonable. I mean, I think that's a reasonable. The only thing is the time frame. That's very short. That's almost like saying should it increase to 15 right now, which, yeah, I mean, it seems fine. I don't know. Like I said, if it was like 20 euros an hour, then I'd be like, whoa, maybe that should be pushed out. You know, maybe like gradually up to 20 by 2030 or something. But 15 by next year, and it's about 13 right now. When's the last time it was raised? Oh, okay. So you guys actually have been raising it regularly. Like it increased just this year, but only by, 40 cents or something. There was a decent jump in 2022. So we're talking bringing it, this graph would look like the bar would go, let's see, 14. This is every 2. So to 15, it would go right about here. I mean, that's like, it looks like a little bit of a large jump. Overall, I support it. I think I'm just going to say I support it because I'm getting really into the weeds on like saying, I'm thinking like, well, maybe by 2027 or maybe like 1450 by 2025 and then 1450 by 2026 and then 15 in the middle of 2026 or something like that. But that's a little bit in the weeds. I feel like overall I support this. I'm pretty in favor in general of, minimum wage being a livable wage. Oh my God, guys, I've done it. I have done it. It's time for the results after an hour and a half. What party? Oh my God, I'm excited. I almost forgot I get to see the actual results now. Hopefully, I better after all that. Why is it saying it's like I'm wrong? It's got a red X like, you got that one wrong. Continue. What does that mean? Selection of parties. Which parties would you like to compare your positions with? All of them. Definitely all these. What the heck? Oh, look at that. Okay, all the parties. Hell yeah. Come on. What did I get, guys? Am I in the AFD? Pirates! I'm in the pirate party. Let's go. What? Oh my God. The pirates. Hell yeah, man. Everybody should get Photoshop for free. Download those cracks. That's what I'm all about. Oh my God, that's pretty funny. It's kind of funny because I kind of like, don't tell, but I have indeed, well, I guess, I guess I shouldn't say, but, I might belong in this party, previously at least, in a previous life. That is funny. I didn't even know this was a thing. I love it. I'm voting for the pirate party, y'all. But where's, like, the actual party, like, I don't even know. Come on, give me a real party. Not that this isn't a real party. Shout out to the pirate party. But, like, a big party. MLPD, what the hell is this? Marxist-Leninist party? A communist party? Okay. That's really an interesting, I'll say that. Party of Humanists. Oh, I like that. Humanists, facts, freedom, and progress. Hell yeah. I like this one. Social and rational individuals. That's right, guys. I'm all about just being rational. Why the Animal Protection Party? Rejuvenation Research. Week of Pregnancy. Guys, what the hell? Oh my god, this is the first, like, real one. SPD. The SPD, guys. The SPD emerged from the workers' movement in 1875. The slogan of social justice is the starting point for many of its positions. I mean, okay, like, I think that this might be like a close match. I do find it funny because in particular, the one about the board, like I said to remove the quota, which sounds like a very not social justice, at least what a lot of people consider social justice type of answer. But okay, SPD. Shout out SPD. Greens 58. The Justice Party? A former CDU. Am I wrong? I mean, actually, this would make sense because maybe you noticed I don't choose any issue along party lines. I'm not like, what does the party think about? What does the left or the right have to say about this? I just think of every question, every position from its own, standpoint. And so what I'm saying is I got the most random ass spattering of parties here. Like, we literally go from the Greens at 58.1 to the Justice Party at 58.1. Like, I have a feeling these aren't that similar. And then number one is the Pirates. What does it actually say? The Pirates were founded in 2006 with a focus on internet policy issues such as data protection, digital copyright, and net neutrality. They demand, among other things, a free and democratically controlled technical infrastructure and more authority for the federal government in education. Oh. I loved everything about this, but what is this? And more authority for the federal government in education possible. Honestly, I don't know the context of that or what why that's associated with the Pirate Party, but hell yeah, I'm all for data protection, net neutrality. Hell yeah. Sign me up to the Pirate Party, dude. Yes. Honestly, I wouldn't have wanted any other party up on top right here. Overall, I like that. I like that a lot. But it is funny how these parties, it's like you're either in the AFD or you're in the Greens. Actually, where's the AFD? Down here at 48. CDU. Like, isn't that funny? It's like you're 48% AFD and only 41% CDU. But you're 58% SPD. Like, isn't that kind of a weird order? SPD, AFD, CDU. It's interesting, though. I find this freaking fascinating. This was a lot of fun. I am so sorry as well, I will say. Let me just reiterate. I'm so sorry if I offended anybody. I am not trying to preach on any issue. I want democracy to prevail. I want you guys, the Germans, to choose whatever candidate you guys believe in and want to be the future of Germany. Who gives a what I think? We're just having fun and giving a little bit perspective on what an American might choose on these issues. At least me, I don't know. Most Americans actually probably wouldn't. Who the hell knows? But me, one American. That's so funny. The CDU is the last one. It's like, yeah, CDU. You're literally you're better suited for any other party in the world than the CDU. Even though the CDU to me is pretty standard. That's just like a Republican. like a kind of like run-of-the-mill Republican type of party. You know, it's not like a crazy extreme party or anything. BSW. Yeah, this is the Sarah one, huh? Okay, 54% on the Sarah Wagenknecht Reason and Justice. PDF, what is this? More direct democratic elements? I like that. Let's go back up to where I'm most... I'm a little bit surprised, like animal protection. What if my answers had anything to do with animal protection? I mean, I like animals. Like, I love animals. Go animals, but I'm not, like, in the PETA. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not against hunting, for example, as long as you eat the animal. I don't want you hunting animals for no reason, but, you know, eat them up, and it's good. You know what I mean? I love steak. Rejuvenation research. Hell yeah. What? This is like, what's the one guy? Oh my god. You know, the Project Blueprint guy. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. That's his party. Week of pregnancy? Okay, what else can I do here? Tuning? This seems like too much. I don't know exactly what all this is. Like, I just did all that, guys. I don't need to do more tuning. That's just too much. Who cares about, like, my fine-tuning? Because, honestly, I'm voting for the Pirates, guys. Pirate Party. Hell yeah. Philip Reichter. Just to be clear, I actually don't know much about this. I just know, you know, obviously these guys are in favor of, like, net neutrality, you know, like, it's like the freaking Pirate Bay. It's that kind of, like, and it's not just, like, about being a criminal. It's about, although I do find it kind of funny, you know, stealing intellectual property. It's about believing in open source, you know what I mean? Open data, open information for all, you know, around the world. At least that's what I understand, you know, at first glance. What do you guys think? How many of you hate me now? I'm part of the Pirate Party. Come at me. Come at me. That was kind of like painful for me. I don't know. I felt way too soapboxy. I felt like I'm like up here like talking. I mean, the only reason I'm doing that is because that's the whole point of the video. You know what I mean? I got to talk out my rationale for why I'm answering each question. But in doing so, I felt like it sounded very preachy, which I hate. Because I'm the type of guy that can see all sorts of points of view. I also answered neutral to like half the questions. So, there you go. This video, like I said, very well might be deleted. So if you see this, congratulations. But if the pitchforks start coming at me, you know what I mean? I'm not risking my life for this video. I'm going to delete the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hour and 45 minutes. Nobody watched this far, okay? If you watch this far, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Comment something below, you know, that'll let me know that you watched this far. Like you can say, "Arg, matey, nice job on the quiz." That's a pretty stupid comment, but you know. But we part of the pirate. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If anybody is still watching. Like, if anybody is still watching my channel after this display.